Good day everyone, I am Hassan Ajibalmol and for today's video, I am going to explain to you about the samples of supporting student activities, outcomes assessment, instructional cycle, and the constructive alignment. But before we proceed, let us know first what is assessment. Assessment is the systematic process of gathering, interpreting, and using information to evaluate an individual's knowledge, skills, or performance in a particular domain. It plays a crucial role in education, employment, and various fields to measure and understand capabilities. In other words, the assessment is the way of a teacher on how they evaluate or measure someone's understanding, skills, or knowledge. It is often involved in tests, projects, or other activities to gauge a student's proficiency in different aspects of a course or subject. The goal is to provide feedback for improvement in teaching and learning. And now, let us proceed to our main topic. Supporting student activities entails providing resources, guidance, and encouragement to enhance extracurricular experiences, fostering a positive environment for skill development and personal growth. To support your activities as a student, you can join clubs, attend workshops, participate in mentoring programs, volunteer, compete in events, form study groups, and explore internships. These are the activities help you learn, develop skills, make connections, and gain real-world experience. We have the samples of supporting student activities. Student learning outcome number 1. Student can be organized information from secondary sources as basis of research topic. It means that in student learning outcome number 1, dapat alam ng student kung paano niya i-organize ang information na makukuha niya mula sa secondary sources, which is sa mga secondary sources ay yung mga aklat, sa mga internet, sa articles, at sa iba pa. Maaari nating gamitin ito bilang estudyante upang mas malalim nating maunawaan ang ating pananaliksik. Para maayos nating ma-organize ang information, maaari tayong magbasa, sumuri at magsulat ng mahalagang point. Ito ay makakatulong sa atin upang ma-present natin ng maayos ang ating pananaliksik. So, yun na nga, practice differentiating source material. So, dapat alam ng student kung paano pag-ibahin yung pinanggagalingan ng information na kanyang nakolekta mula sa source material ba o sa opinion lamang ng tao. Ang source material na tinutukoy natin is yan yung I mentioned a while ago. Yan yung naglalaman ng impormasyon na batay siya sa totoong data or at evidence. Karaniwang ginagamit ito bilang reference or citation para suportahan ang mga pahayag natin. Sa kabilang banda, ang mga opinion natin, ang opinion is yan yung nagpapahayag ng personal lamang na pananaw at damdamin at gumagamit tayo ng subjective na wika. Sa pagsusuri natin ng source material, tinitingnan natin ang mga konkretong datas at evidence na maaari nating patunayang totoo nga yung mga pahayag na ating nakuha. Sa mga opinion naman, hinahanap natin ang personal na saloobin ng tao, madalas na may bias o personal na pagtingin. Reading articles and formulating an original paragraph from quotes, paraphrases, and summaries. Articles, dapat sa pagbabasa ng articles is dapat marunong mag-formulate ng original paragraph ang student dahil maaari itong mapansin or ma-observe nung mambabasa na pinlagiarize lang yung kanyang information na inilagay doon sa research. Next, writing essays to develop the topic. Developing a topic for an essay involves brainstorming ideas, conducting research, narrowing down options, defining a thesis statement, outlining the essay, conducting in-depth research, writing the essay, and revising or editing. It is important to choose a topic that interests you and has enough credible sources available. Remember to structure your essay with an introduction, body, and conclusions. Integrating bibliographic entries in appropriate format. In integrating bibliographic entries in format, we use to consider the MLA format. We use the author's last name and page number in parentheses for in-text citations. Include a works cited page at the end of our essay with full bibliographic entries. APA format. Use the author's last name and year of publication in parentheses for in-text citations. Include a reference page at the end of our essay with full bibliographic details or for research. Number 3 is the Chicago style. Use superscript numbers in the text for footnotes or in the author's last name and years of publication in parentheses for author date format. Include bibliography at the end of our research with full bibliographic details.
Let's proceed to the student learning outcome number 2. Students apply principles of logical thinking and persuasive argument in writing.
Here in student learning outcome number 2 is dito pumapasok na yung logical thinking and persuasive argument in writing. Nagagamit na ng student yung logical thinking nila at kung paano sila mag-convince sa mambabasa nung research nilang ginawa. Forming opinion about the topic, ibig sabihin is hindi ka lang magbe-base doon sa mga references or the secondary resources na sinasabi. So you have to make your own opinion about the topic, yung paano mo maintindihan ang isang topic na yung gagawin.
Next, researching and writing about a variety of perspectives. Ang pagsasaliksik at pagsusulat tungkol sa iba't ibang perspective ay tumutukoy sa pagkuha ng impormasyon mula sa iba't ibang sanggunian ng impormasyon, kabilang ang mga aklat, journal, website at iba pa upang magkaroon ng malawak at detalyadong kaalaman tungkol sa isang paksa. Mahalaga na isang alang-alang natin ang iba't ibang perspective upang magkaroon ng mas malawak na pag-unawa sa isang paksa at magkaroon ng mas malalim na pananaw sa isang issue. Adapting style to the identified audience. Ibig sabihin, ang adapting style to the identified audience ay tumutukoy sa pagpapakita ng tamang style ng pagsulat o pagpapahayag ng impormasyon batay sa kani-kanilang audience o mambabasa. Ito ay mahalaga upang mas maintindihan ng mambabasa ang mensahe na nais iparating at maiwasan ang mga pagkakamali sa pagpapahayag ng impormasyon. Halimbawa, kung ang audience ay mga estudyante, ang estilo ng pagsulat ay dapat na mas simple at madaling maunawaan. Dapat ito maging isang malapit sa kanilang wika at pang-araw-araw na ginagamit. Sa kabilang banda, kung ang audience naman ay mga profesional, ang estilo ng pagsulat ay dapat na mas formal at technical.
The last is the employing clear argument in writing. In simple terms, an argument is a statement or set of statements that support a particular point of view or claim. It is a way of presenting reasons or evidence to convince someone that your viewpoint is valid. Clear arguments are those that are logical, well-organized, and easy to understand. They make use of facts, examples, and reasoning to support the main idea. By presenting a clear argument, you are able to express your thoughts effectively and persuade others to see things from your perspective.
And the last is the student learning outcome number 3. Write a multiple-page essays complying with standard form and style. In student learning outcome number 3, means that students should able to write essays that are several page long is sinusunod niya yung standard format and style guidelines, structuring their essays with an introduction, body, paragraphs at conclusion at tiyak na grammar at formatting through the writing. Okay, so first is analyzing and evaluating text. In analyzing and evaluating text, we first looking closely at what is written or said to figure out what it means. It was written and whether it is good or reliable. Sa madaling salita, ang pagsusuri at pag-evaluate ng ating text involves digging into the content to understand it. Okay, so that's it. Number 2 is the writing about a variety of perspectives on single topic. Here, in number 2, means that students should write about a subject from different points of view, not just one. Halimbawa, kapag ang topic ay climate change, meron tayong tinatawag na different perspectives like environmentalist, economic, social, and so on. In this way, each student write about but from different angles or perspectives. Kumbaga, i-expand mo pa yung information to provide a more comprehensive understanding of that issue or topic.
Let's proceed to the number 4.
Okay, so
Sa number 4 naman is number 3
i-check mo
is
at
the
i-correct
adapting
tone and
grammar
style
mistakes
to address one's
sinisigurado mo or
Sa number
sisiguraduhin
3
mo
naman
na ang
it
iyong
means that when we
essays or
communicate,
written work is
whether it's
nakafollow
writing
ba ng
on
proper
speaking,
format.
we should adjust how to express ourselves based on who we are talking to. Sa madaling
Number
salita,
5 is
salita. Ito'y
ang pinopoint
paano
naman dito
mo
sa number
i-deliver
5 is,
ng maayos ang iyong
in
mga
other words,
salita
you
para
should
mas
directly
magets pa
connect
ng
the topics and
kausap mo
activities
at
in
mas
your group
maintindihan
discussion.
pa ng
Magdidiscuss
maayos ang
kayo
ating
within your
sinasabi.
group
So that kung mayroong mga mistakes doon sa ginawa niyong research is pwede nyo siyang ma-correct. That is related to the topics. Ask them, set ground rules, allow open dialogue, or magkakandak kayo ng brainstorming at i-summarize ang key points nung nagawa nyo or na-collect nyo information.
Let's proceed to our second topic, the outcomes assessment in the instructional cycle. It is a process of evaluating or measuring the extent to which students have achieved the desired learning outcomes or objectives. It involves assessing whether students have acquired the knowledge, skills, or competence that were intended to be developed through the instructional activities. Outcomes assessment is an essential part of the instructional cycle as it helps educators to determine the effectiveness of their teaching methods and instructional strategies. It provides valuable feedback on the progress and performance of students, allowing educators to make informed decisions about instructional improvements or adjustments. The assessment of learning outcomes can take various forms such as tests, quizzes, projects, presentations, observations, or portfolios. The results of this assessment provides insights into students' strengths, weaknesses, and areas that may provide or require further instruction or support. By conducting outcome assessments, educators can identify areas of success and areas that may need additional attention, enabling them to modify their instructional approaches to better meet the needs of their students. It also helps in monitoring the overall effectiveness of the instructional cycle and making data-driven decisions to enhance student learning activities. Take a look to the given picture here. It illustrates the outcomes assessment in the instructional cycle. So we have the institutional missions, program goals, subject objectives, research students' learning outcomes, the diagnostic assessment, deciding on lesson focus, supporting student activities, formative assessment outcomes, review or reteach, mastery of learning, and the last is the summative assessment of outcomes. So now, I will discuss first the institutional mission. When we say institutional mission, refers to the primary purpose or objectives of institutions. It serves as a guiding principle that directs the institution's actions, decisions, and priorities. It is essentially defines what the institution stands for and what it aims to achieve. Para itong roadmap o gabay para maabot ng adhikain ng isang institution. Mahalaga itong institutional mission dahil ito ang nagpapakita ng direksyon at layunin sa bawat activities and decision of each particular institution. For instance, is the mission of our school.
And it also fosters effective communication. It promotes our critical thinking, support inclusive education, cultivate cultural awareness, and encourage lifelong learning. Let's proceed to the subject objectives. When we say subject objectives, it is the specific outcomes that are expected to achieve in a particular subject or course. Ibig sabihin, yan yung inaasahang matutunan o ma-achieve ng mga students sa nasabing subject. For instance, is by the end of the lesson, students will be able to first is identify the subject and predicate in the simple sentence. B. Constructive a sentence. C. Appreciate the importance of the lesson by showing active participation of the students towards the lesson. It means, dito na i-involve si domain ng lesson plan, the cognitive, affective, and the psychomotor. Let us proceed to the desired student learning outcomes. This means the specific goals and achievements that educators want their student to reach out through their learning experience by the end of a course or program. Sa madaling salita, yan yung bagay na nais ng mga teachers na matutunan ng students after ng discussions. It represents the intended knowledge and abilities ng teacher na inaasahan nilang ma-acquire ng bata during educational journey. The student-centered is the most centered here. Okay, so proceed tayo sa diagnostic assessment. It is an evaluation method used to assess students' learning existing knowledge, skills, strengths, and weaknesses before instructional begins. Or isinasagawa bago mag-umpisa ang discussions. Isa siyang tool para masukat kung saan umaabot or kung ano ang nalalaman ng students. Example is the pretest. Deciding on lesson focus, yan na yung crucial step in lesson planning and teaching. It is about on how you choose kung ano yung central topic na ituturo mo o kung ano ang magiging sentro ng iyong aralin. Through this deciding, it may guide you to make activities, instructional materials, assessment at teaching strategy para maayos na maiparating ang napiling topic for students. It serves as the core content around kung saan ang buong lesson is well structured. Let's proceed to the supporting student activities. It refers to the actions, resources, and strategies that educators employ to help students engage in meaningful and effective learning experience. It helps students to enhance students' understanding, skills, and overall educational development. For instance, is the instructional materials, the handouts, digital resources, and so on. 2 is the classroom environment. 3 is the hands-on learning, the practical learnings, activities, and projects. Let's proceed to the formative assessment outcomes. When we say formative assessment outcomes, it includes the quiz scores, observations of classroom discussions, homework, and self-assessment. Diyan natin malalaman kung natutunan ba ng mga bata ang itinuro ng mga teacher, kung naging epektibo ba ang way ng pag-aaral sa buong discussion. In review or reteach naman, review is babalikan mo or i-recall mo yung itinuro mo to reinforce learning. Reteach naman is ituturo mo ulit yung mga lessons mo para mas malinawan o maunawaan pa ng students ang hindi nila maintindihan sa lessons na diniscuss nyo. Okay, so master learning, dapat isiguraduhin na na-master muna or naintindihan talaga ng students ang lesson na diniscuss bago mag-proceed sa another topic. Ibig sabihin, hindi pinapayagan na mag-proceed hanggat hindi master ng students ang itinuturo. Halimbawa is sa 100 na students, nag-conduct ng quiz or exam, ang student na hindi or nakapasa is 40%. Ang hindi naman nakapasa is 60%, which is kapag hindi kumalahati ang pumasa, isang mangyayari hindi makaka-proceed, means hindi naging epektibo ang pagtuturo ng teacher. Ibig sabihin, kailangan gumamit pa ng ibang strategy ang teacher para maipasok talaga sa mind or utak ng bata yung kanyang itinuturo. Okay, so and the last is the summative assessment outcomes. It includes exams, standardized tests, portfolio, and of-term subjects. It provides a summary of kung ano yung natutunan ng mga bata or kung na-convey ba ng maayos at naging epektibo ba ang pagtuturo ng guro. So ngayon, nakuha na natin ang program goals and the subject objectives na nais ng teacher na makamit ng bata. Let us proceed to our last topic, the constructive alignment. Constructive alignment is a principle for course design that aims to align the intended learning outcomes with the teaching and assessment methods. It was conceptualized by John Biggs based on early work by Ralph Tyler and Thomas Sewell. In short, constructive alignment is about designing a course in a way that ensures the teacher outcomes or the learning outcomes, teaching methods, and assessment tasks are all aligned, working together. It involves considering what you want the students to learn, how you will teach them, and how you will assess their learning. By aligning these components, you create a clear and coherent learning experience for students, helping them achieve the desired learning outcomes effectively. It's like building a bridge between what you want students to learn and the activities and assessments that support their learning. Look at the picture here. This is the constructive alignment. We have the learning outcomes, the teaching learning activities, and the assessment task. In learning outcomes, what we want our student to learn by completing the topic. Example is to drive a car. Ang teaching learning activities naman natin is yung driving a car, not giving lectures on car driving. In short, ang learning outcomes is yan yung parang objective niya. Yan yung gusto nating ituro dun sa bata. Ngayon naman, ang teaching learning activities is yan na yung mga lectures, discussions, group work, hands-on activities, and practical activities. Ang assessment task is to let the student drive a car, not to describe how to drive a car. Ngayon, kapag alam na nung bata kung paano niya isagawa yung lectures or yung itinuro sa kanya is i-apply na niya sa real life situation. So that is how the constructive alignment works.